Last week's episode was all about the birds, and so this week we are moving on to the bees. More specifically, we are going to talk about the importance of bees as pollinators and their impact on the world food web. We are also going to take a look at the UNCW Beekeeping Club's apiary. I'm Maddie Peterson, and you're watching Dub Geographic. For such a small organism, it is hard to imagine how important bees are to the environment. As pollinators, bees are responsible for about a third of all the food we consume, be that from fruits and vegetables directly or from the food that our meat products eat to survive. Contrary to what you might think, bees actually aren't intentionally pollinating plants. The nectar and pollen produced by flowers are the bees' only source of food. So it just so happens that bees pollinate while they are foraging for food. As the bees forage for the pollen and nectar, the small hairs on their body pick up pollen from the anther or male part of the plant. When the bee moves on to another plant, the pollen is then transferred onto the stigma, or the female part of the plant. Poet Khalil Gibran brilliantly described this interaction by saying that, to the bee, a flower is the fountain of life, and to the flower, the bee is a messenger of love. Bees are not only important for their pollinating purposes. Bees make honey, which is both delicious and incredibly useful. Honey has antiseptic and antimicrobial properties, and since ancient history, it has been an essential product in medicine. Bees also produce beeswax, which can be used in moisturizer, candles, and cooking products, to name just a few. Fun fact, while bees are known for producing honey and beeswax, bees also produce a substance called propolis. Propolis is a mixture of bee saliva, beeswax, and tree resin, and has often been referred to as bee glue. This sticky substance is used as a building material in hives, but it also smells really good. So what do you do with something that smells amazing? You make perfume out of it. The ancient Greeks started this practice, and propolis is still an important ingredient in the perfume industry today. Despite their vast benefits to society, bee populations are declining at an alarming rate. Acute pesticide poisoning from pesticides used in the agricultural industry have had very negative impacts on not only hive populations, but solo bees as well. Furthermore, urbanization is greatly reducing the bees' environment. In 2007, a third of honeybee colonies in the US were destroyed by what is known as colony collapse disorder. Colony collapse disorder is a phenomenon where the worker bees in the colony abandon the queen and young brood. While the hive initially has enough honey to survive, eventually the remaining bees will die because they cannot produce more food. Scientists are not entirely sure why this behavior began, but they speculate it could be due to the stress of new environmental factors like introduced parasites, harmful pesticides, and loss of habitat. To get just a glimpse of how cool these creatures are, we got to take a look at the apiary right here on campus. While we were there, we got to ask President Maddie Ruff of the UNCW Beekeeping Club some questions about bees and how we students can get involved. Hi Maddie, what do you do?
Okay, I am the president of the Bee Club. Basically, we have our apiary over here, and we're basically just teaching how people need to go into a hive safely and responsibly without hurting the bees. So that's basically what we're doing, trying to spread spread the knowledge about bees and just promote awareness.
And why are bees so important?
They are incredibly important. Oh my God, 1 out of 3 bites of food that you eat, you can thank a bee for that. So they're really important to just our food. Einstein said it, if bees go extinct, we're gonna, be extinct ourselves in 4 years. So, and that's gonna be from starvation. We're gonna lose a lot of food. And bees are just incredibly important to our way of life, and we don't even know it.
What can UNCW students do to get involved in the conservation of bees?
Just contact me. Oh my goodness, just contact me. I will help you get involved with this because, it doesn't take that long. It's an hour or 2 a week. You just go into the hive, you check on the bees, you learn about these incredible creatures.
Thank you so much to Maddie and the Beekeeping Club for all of their work with bees. And if you would like to go down the bee rabbit hole, be sure to look up the UNCW Beekeeping Club on Facebook. This was just a taste of how awesome bees are, and also just a small warning about the peril bees are facing. It has been stated that if we lose bees, humans will be dead in 4 years. While this statement is pretty extreme and doesn't take into account human ingenuity, the fact still remains that without bees, our lives will be drastically different. As conservationist guru John Muir once stated, when one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world. Thanks for watching this episode of Dub Geographic. See you next week, Seahawks.